Hello everyone, so today we have the TLV LV-24 of the very first Toyota Crown, or back then it was called a Toyopet Crown. Alright, so the Wikipedia is telling me this was designed by a Kenya Nakamura, and the first generation of Crown ran between 1955 to 1962. But based on the grille that I'm looking at on this photograph, this is the facelifted version that came out in 1959. So it'd be the Crown Custom. Crowns of this first generation would have been powered by a 1.5 up to a 1.9 liter inline 4. And actually the rear doors are suicide doors. As well, you can see the door handles right next to each other. Let me try to focus between the model and the photo. So this one actually has the wheels hubcaps that TLV went molded on. But here it's just a different angle with different types of hubcaps. This car also had a coil and double wishbone independent front suspension, so that's pretty advanced for its day. It had a live axle rear, which is pretty common for its day. And then a 1958 model would have cost around $2,200, and that's equivalent to around $21,000 in today's money. This is the very first Toyota vehicle to be exported to the United States. Granted, they only exported a few hundred of them. It was designed for the rugged roads of Japan, post-war era, so it didn't do too well initially in America. It couldn't keep up with the speeds, but it was built really ruggedly. Later on, I think they put in a stronger engine. Alright, let's take a look at this TLV model now. It's a really cool red and cream colored two-tone paint job, so that's nice. Going down to the wheels, unfortunately we have the typical TLV slab-sided tires. They're too flat. It looks like a cookie cutter, so it's kind of weird. But the wheel is nice and red. I'm afraid to touch it, the paint might scratch. And then there's some chrome, I guess it was a chromed plastic wheel beforehand. It almost looks like a Mercedes star in the middle. But the tread blocks look pretty nice. They don't look too truck-like. And then the thing does have suspension if that gets your boat going. It does say Toyopet Crown there. And then there's a silver trim. It's protruding upwards and it's following the body contour nicely. Little fender flares here, or little lips. Alright, there's the suicide doors. The handles are good, and then maybe those are probably thumb pushes or something. I was going to say locks, but maybe your thumb pushes that. It's interesting that there's a reflector or a running light here. It's not on the photo. Well, it's on the first photo I pulled up, but not the second one. It's nice that this thing is clear. You can see the interior. We'll get to that later. And then they actually have color matched strips here for the little window separators. Alright, going to the front end, we have a nice chromed bumper and chromed grille. Nice texture in here. Unfortunately, no black there. This has got some red in the logo of some sort. Just a red printing, it looks like. But you can see Toyopet is legible, so that's good. A little bit of paint rash on this model. Clear lens looks good. Silver ring around it. Silver around this orange turn signal. And then even more like bumperette things. It's the same piece of plastic as this, but with interesting styling going on. And I guess those are bumperettes too. This looks like it's scratched. This is a used model, so it could have been dropped for all I know. Little silver streak there, more paint rash unfortunately, and then some painted on wiper blades, and some molded in detail here, painted black for the window molding. Alright, and it's silver, so two paints going on there. This side looks the same as the other, so the fuel filler, maybe it's behind the license plate or something. There's some more black mold paint here, and silver paint as well. In fact, there's a silver trim line going around the whole bottom of the greenhouse, so that's interesting. Toyopet looks good, and then this chrome strip and the lock there look good. Just a blank plate, painted on taillights, some silver and red, and then probably backup lights painted white, except for chrome bumper again. Okay, so how old is this thing? Around 2006, so paint rash is an issue even on brand new TLVs sometimes, so they're just not really good at painting stuff long term. Little tiny exhaust tip there, press fit together, and all TLVs seem to roll pretty smooth. So the interior, even though it's a light color, I'm going to get the flashlight out. Nice steering wheel, open spokes, nice molded details. It looks like there's even silver in the instrument cluster. Yeah, it's definitely a different color in that giant round thing as well. I don't know what would be in that round thing. But yeah, glove box details, some buttons and stuff. The doors have wind down windows and like a pull and yeah, lever, door handle lever, I guess. The seats are two-tone. They're cream and they have a red insert in the middle there. It's not an insert, but it's red ribbing, I guess you'd call it. Alright, no rear view mirror, that's fine. So, not bad, you know. Obviously I would prefer it to not have paint rash, but it is a pretty old model now. I guess it could have been a lot worse, I know that for sure. And it's good separation of the, you know, the red and the cream. I think they used the silver trim in both instances to help hide the seam between the two colors. It's a smart choice. It runs around the whole body. It's really cool. Very funky styling. You know, looks like a car from that era. Let's get the spin thing out. I'll put a few other Toyotas. Put this on my rural dirt road coaster. Alright, so this is also a TLV. It's called the Masterline. So the Masterline was meant to be the more rugged commercial vehicles, and the Crown was supposed to be meant for private consumption. But the Crown outsold, I guess, the Masterline, and I think the Masterline eventually died out. And even though the Masterlines were meant to be the taxis, people preferred the Crown to be because it was more comfortable. And Toyota Crown taxis, I think, still run around Japan. I'm not sure if they're actually sold anymore, but, well, you'll take a look at one soon enough. Another old TLV, this next one is called a Toyopet Corona 1500. So a Corona would be a lesser grade Toyota, and so it is a smaller vehicle. This next one is a Toyopet Crown, but it's the second generation, between 62 to 67. And the last one is the Taxi, which I believe ran between 1995 to 2017. It's called the Crown Comfort. I'm not sure if there's a more modern Crown than this one. You would think that they would have one because the nameplate's been around for half a century, longer than half a century. Anyways, top-down view. So yeah, the Crowns are all logically growing in size over the years. The Corona's a smaller model, and the Masterline is a big wagon of some sort. So it's not the most attractive vehicle, that's why it's taken me so long to get this thing. But after getting so many the other Crowns, and I have a bunch of other Crowns from like those Aoshima Garachans and stuff, it just felt right that I actually get the very first generation, although I think again this is the facelifted version. In fact, the second photo has a horizontal grille, so only this one is matching this casting. I wouldn't be surprised if TLV has this, just with a different grille insert. But I'm okay with this one. So I appreciate you watching today, and I'm sure sooner or later I'll get another TLV in, so stay tuned. Bye now.